Ningyu oral transmission of Shangjung. So the order of the formation, the procedure, uh, how each elements connect another element, and then finally we became a composition of 5 elements. At the same time, mm,
Sorry, I had to mute everybody because somebody was unmuted, but now it's okay. Rinpoche, can you unmute yourself? Sorry.
okay. Uh, so, so at the same time, in this formation, there are gross form and the subtle form and many more. Okay, so through this order of the formation, we can learn how um, uh, the element can dissolve back in the way opposite to the formation. So, so in that case, uh, there are few different steps of dissolvement, or uh, how you say, also collapsing, collapse of the composition, or disconnecting each other. So in that dissolvement, there are gross form and then subtle form. Okay, gross form also losing connection uh, of 5 elements with the 5 organs, with the 5 hollow organs, and 5 senses, which is a door, and then also with the 5 limbs, okay, which I didn't mention more, not to confuse. Basically, right leg, right hand, left hand, and the head. These are the 5 limbs also connected with this dissolvement or dissolution. And besides that, uh, we have a dissolution of the 5 channels and five chakras. So when I say 5 channels, also 5 pranas, better say, five uh, uh, 5 pranas and 5 chakras. And when the 5 pranas are the first Kenyu, the pranas are the subtle form of the breath. Okay, we have a breath that is gross, oxygen and carbon dioxide. Oxygen, carbon dioxide, inhaling, exhaling. Okay, that is breath, that is wind. uh, in Tibetan, both are called, all of them are called lung, which literally means a wind or breath. So in English, there should be a different name. I think in Sanskrit, there is prana and the breath. So in prana, the subtle wind, I would say, to make it understand, to make it simple, we can say a subtle wind, or subtle wind. 5 subtle winds. Okay, 5 subtle wind. First one is Kenyu. Genju, uh, upward moving, that control uh, anything that goes up, whether it is making a voice, whether it works the creativity. This is the first one. And Genju. Then Tursil. Tursil is actually Tur means downward. Sel means cleansing, cleansing, cleansing downward. Okay. Uh, uh, it control where and when to flesh out remaining things, whether it is stool, urine, and all unwanted things. And it also has to do this Thursil wind down, subtle downward prana has a ability to increase and to work with mm, the 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 issues, the problems that occurs in the male and female, whether it is a mm, how it period, whether it is a controlling semen, improving, cleansing, all has something to do with a downward prana, cleansing prana. Okay, Turselung, that is Tibetan. And Kenju, Tursel, and then Menyam. Menyam is a fire like prana, subtle wind that produce, that control, that balance the heat in our body, whether it is a whether it is connected with the digestion. It is very important with the digestion actually. uh, mm, uh, Whenever you have a digestion problem, the Tibetan often talk about power of heat in your stomach has decreased. You have to improve it. So it can be improved by medicine, by diet, by exercise, by meditation, or tsalung, or yoga, and specifically yoga that is connected with a fire like prana. Okay, that is one thing. And Genju, Tursil, Menyam, and then Kyapche. Kyapche is a how's the what is English word? Uh, how to say, expanded or uh, prevailed uh, prana, which is spread all over our body. Mm. Somebody is writing pervasive. Oh, thank you. Pervasive wind spread all over our body, and that pervasive prana helps blood circulations, also more connecting all together. So that is the one. And then the last one is Sokzin. uh, Sokzin, actually it literally means controlling the life force, but in English normally they translate a life force prana. Zin means controlling, because it stays in your heart, so it control it. It deal with a heartbeat. uh, it deal with blood circulation. So that is why that is the which one prana that control life force. So all these subtle pranas started to dysfunction, disconnect, or mm, uh, how to say, disactivate In other words, it collapsed down. Okay, it collapsed down, and these things happens later. Okay, later, and with this also the procedure of collapsing the chakras. Hmm? Chakra starting with a hmm, how to say normally when we talk about chakra we talk about like this Niccolo, great bliss chakra here in crown and dimple longju Yukorlo, the treasure chakra at the how to say throat chakra and tuga pönyi Yukorlo, pönyi like natural burn, the chakra of natural burn, uh, which is something to do with emptiness. That is a heart chakra. Mm? Uh, how to say? Then there were two big korlo in the navel and below navel and the navel, the navel chakra, which is called a miracle or chakra of manifestation, and also the fifth one, sangne. You can also mention also the chakra of the secret chakra, which is at a secret organ. So that is the fifth chakra. But this has also something to do with the elements. Mm? Five chakras are connected with elements. Five channel pranas are connected with the elements, and all these are elements. So it is basically when they collapse down, it is a procedure of subtle elements collapsing down. Okay, gross element dissolve. Now subtle element, when the subtle elements dissolve, that is called inner death. Okay, inner death. So the precise one which really happened with the three subtle essence, mind and then two bodhisattva seeds, that I think it is better to talk tomorrow because I want to go more detail about it. But mm, the general, how to say, because we have to talk about the precise movement of this. Okay, now one thing you have to know clear is that when the connection of the consciousness and the phenomena uh, uh, disconnects, actually the mental state, the consciousness inside became more clear. Hmm? Senses, when the senses stop working and the mind became more clear, and actually it talks about like uh, uh, kind of a seven times more clear. The reason is that the focus that it is put on out through the senses to out through the doors with the eye organ, eye sense, nose, tongue, and like that focus that is put out is shut down, and all the cognition, senses cognition, uh, main mind or consciousness to the base. So all the ability, strength, power is in. And that mind became 7 times more brighter, clear at that moment. Mm, that is one. And normally they give the example of uh, when the flame of the candle or butter lamp is going off, dying. Have you observed when the candle dies? At the last moment, it became more. The flame became bigger, and then go off. So it's it same thing. Same thing is or will happen when we die. Okay, that clarity, or not clarity, the brightness of the mind, concentration is very important. And these they are the timing we can discuss more. There are timing normally traditionally in Tibetan society. There are timing where or when uh, how to say uh, master or lamas should be invited to guide the dying person. There's a way to guide. Actually, when you see that he or she is dying and all these dissolvements are happening, and there's a way to guide, and still they can understand. Some will move their head, and you have to say, don't afraid, uh, how to say, pray, invoke, or being in a natural state of mind, meditate, concentrate. All these things you can guide. And some of them they how to say, nod their head. And sometimes they are like kind of off and on off and on, uh, go off and then immediately again they come back. In that case, there are many ways. Sometimes there is a way to pull the hairs here, and then sometimes you pull the ear and then shout in the ear to guide. Sometimes they says that they will have a feeling that they are in a very deep tunnel, and then somebody is shouting from the end of the tunnel, and then they will hear in such situation, such condition. So but they will hear something, and their focus and concentration is very sharp, that if you can guide some very benefit words, and they will really follow this. So these are the very important moment uh, for them to guide. Hmm? If he or she is a practitioner, and then the easiest thing is to remember what you have learned, remember what you have practiced, and just concentrate on that, and not be distracted by the illusion. Don't be afraid. And these things are most important thing. Okay, otherwise they are bigger ritual, cleansing, and many things, ritual. And then after certain point, there is a way to do even a pour for the dying person, and there is a specific timing for that. If you know the timing, that is the best moment, and it helps someone to help to get uh, to take the consciousness out of the body, not to remain or stuck or there or like this. This is also helpful. uh, this is the uh, this is the one thing that can be done. Hmm? And if we couldn't guide them well and they're stuck in this body and they don't realize they are died, they don't want to leave the body, and that is the moment when the such called zombie rolang, I don't know what else you use the term, these things happens. Okay, I think English word is like zombie. uh, Tibetan word is called rolang. Ro is a corpse, lung is like arising or standing, walking. So basically uh, they stand up and then started to walk, and then it started to harm everyone. That is the concept. Because of this, in many tradition, after a few days, there is a tradition to break the backbone of the so there are special person who knows how to break the backbone after 3 days. And they says that when the roland walks, they don't know how to bow down, they go straight. Okay, if their backbone is broken, and they won't able to stand. And that is the concept. People often says, I don't know if it is true or not, but it is often says that in the many places in Himalaya and other region, they have a very low main door. That main door is very low, and it is made because that roland won't able to enter into your house because they don't know how to bend, so they stuck. So anyway, that is the some the concept. But the main important thing is how to guide, how to perform a poa, how to perform a ritual, when to do when to read the bardó prayers, and how what to do with the corpse. Those are very important. And generally, majority of the corpse, they are performed a funeral according to tantra, specifically shito. Shito is a cycle that is connected with tantra, which has a concept of uh, how to say, wrathful and peaceful deities, 45-8 like this deities. And in that concept, normally they wash the corpse, and then they uh, they purify, they transform, they bless the corpse with a syllables of the deities and each point of the body. They literally put holy syllables in the body and make it holy, and then offer to the how to say, mela, kusum mela, uh, three kayas of a fire deity, three kayas of fire deities. And you will see this kind of, it is also called chinsek. Chinsek, chinsek is offering to the fire deities. These are performed. So this is one kind of a funeral. And actually there are five kind of funerals. Okay, and again, each of them is performed according to the five elements. It means We are made of elements and we return it back to the elements. The reason of performing these five different funeral is to returning back to the elements. And in early time, uh, but actually even these days, they often perform a calculate astrology, the astrology, death astrology. But because of the current situation in a different world, we cannot perform all these five funeral, and especially one or two they already disappeared. So according to this funeral, when to perform to perform a funeral according to space element, that is sky burial. Sky burial, many of you know it, is it? Sky burial. Sky burial is a funeral that you return the body to the space. That means you chop the body and distribute to the vulture, and vulture will eat and fly in the sky. Isn't simple? Scary, scary. But this funeral is a very strong. I have learned from many biographies from great practitioners of Dolpo. They often make left a message to the remaining followers and the family that uh, their wish to distribute their body to the vulture. They often says this is very interesting. And the second thing is that uh, there are many tradition even in Tibet, but in Himalaya, in my region, the whoever died, the sky burial is performed by the lamas, priests, practitioners. So I know this from my own father, who is a local priest, and he often performed this, the sky burial. And the interesting things about the sky burial is that if the dying person is very sinful, and even the vultures sometimes don't eat the body. This is a very common, how to say, issues. Now you see, we cannot judge he is a sinful or like this. And once someone is well known that he is a very sinful, and it shows while he dies. This is very interesting. Hmm? And then when vulture reject to the another thing is that uh, the vulture has some kind of eye, how you called it, seeing, now how to say, clairvoyance eyes, is it? Clairvoyance eyes for the flesh, and especially human flesh. And they says that if you perform a sky burial in this region, and the vulture from seven mountains away will see this and come. This is very interesting. Hmm? And then when they reject to eat the body, there are two or three procedures or rituals. First thing is that you mixed a holy substances or holy pills, holy things uh, with that chopped corpse, and then offer. Maybe they will accept or eat. That is one thing. And these movies in Hollywood, I think in Kundin or 7 Years in Tibet, one of them shows it. and this is very common method in my region in Tolpo. If they again reject that, and then there is a dance called a sky burial dance. These tantric practitioners, they know how to convince the vulture to eat this with a how to say sky burial dance. Okay, and this, that episode is shown in Dolpo movie called Himalaya. You will see that dancing. So that actually still perform in Dolpo. And the funny thing is that they dance, they imitate, they are eating the kind of not really putting, just roaming around the corpse and enjoying, and then slowly vultures comes and eat. Those are very interesting how chol. That is sky burial. And the funny thing happened in one region in eastern part of Dolpo. They says that a dead body is brought to the sky burial, how to say, spot, and it was put in a one bag. And the first ngakpa, he cut the rope that is tied with the bag and opened it, and then man was looking up and with the white eyes, and the priest is with the sword. The man is open his eyes, and the man said, "Please leave me, I'm alive." And this priest was so brave that he realized he's alive. And these men remained 3 more years, or spent 3 more years. So imagine, so that kind of like keeping dead body 3 days is very important, very important. And we have a black humor, also jokes, bad jokes, I would say, about this. They says that in Dobo it really happened. They says it really happened. A, uh, a, a father died, and son was very busy, and he put his father's corpse in a, how to say, uh, the bag, and tie in the ceiling, because we have this superstitious. If you leave the corpse on the floor when nobody's there, and if the uh, black cats uh, they touch it, if the cat touch the corpse, and the corpse turn into a zombie or rolang, that is the superstitious. So what he did is, and he went for work, and he came back after 2 days, and then he take him to the how to say, cemetery. And when since he took this how to say, he took the bag on his back while he was walking, somehow pushing the stomach of the uh, corpse. uh, then somehow this corpse gained a life, some kind of, how you call, doing some what was the term, CBR or CBS, that you push like this. I think something like this. Yeah, VPR, CBR, something like that. Oh, it worked like this, and then he started to talk from the behind. He said, "Stop, stop, stop! Yeah, I'm alive." So we have jokes. I don't know if it really happened. They said it really happened, and Son was so angry that if your ability to talk, why didn't you talk at the home? So he said he took it down and kick on the back. He said there's also jokes like this, but in reality, you can see things can be how to say, miracle, kind of miracle can happen if you have a patience, if you give them opportunity, and those are very important. That is thing. And that is the one thing. That is the sky bureau. Okay, sky bureau. and that is the returning the body back to the space, and the second is returning the body back to the wind element, and that is mummifying. Mummifying in Tibet and Tibetan region in all around Himalaya was common in the long time ago. And they said that before cultural revelation, almost every monastery has almost one or two mummification of a high lama. Now almost very rare, very rare. Uh, so, but the procedure of mummification is still alive. So it is like a drying the corpse with the wind. Okay, there are more procedure. So that is returning the body back to the wind. So mummifying. But later, the tradition changed. Only the high lamas are mummified. Hmm? And they mummified and then they paint the face with the gold. So when the face shrink down, the original shape of the face remain in the gold, like out. Inside, maybe it shrink back. So this is the corpse, and that is the reason. Actually, in old time, most of these stupa inside the temple are filled with mummification. Now these days, only ashes are kept there. That is the second thing. And third thing, of course, returning back to the fire is very common. Burning, how you call it? That is very cremate. That is very common. So I don't need to say more about this, but there are, uh, I would say, the biggest funeral can be done with the cremation. The biggest. It is so so that is the biggest cremation. Okay. That is. And then water, returning back to the water. So that is a little bit scary one. All time it was practiced even in 1980s. It was practiced in Dolbo even. Now it is stopped for a few reasons. One thing, you need a specific area for that, and second thing, you have to drown that corpse in the water. So it is aimed like as the sky barrel. It is aimed that fishes, see, the animals in the water should eat it. If this animal, if this animal eat the corpse, then it's fine. Otherwise, if the corpse remain there for a few days and then corpse become the corpse started to swallow, changing the color, became a bigger, and it is very scary. And it scares the travelers, especially children. So normally they tie a scarf, white scarf, kada, and put the corpse in the water and tie the scarf on the bank of the water with that stone or with the trees. But there were many issues that it scared many people, and then also it pollute the water. Okay, there are many reasons. So almost, I don't remember now if it is still practiced, but it is almost gone. And the last one, it is how you call it, burial, burying under the earth. That is the last one. Okay, so returning to the earth. So these are the five funerals performed according to the five elements. And the oldest sky burial document that is made in the West is a, I don't know, very old sky burial document that is performed in Dolpo, and the clips is still on the YouTube, and the definition is very strange there. They says that Himalaya they don't have a fire woods, they lack firewoods, and the land is very cold and they cannot dig the earth, so they chop and offer to the birds. That is very strange for me. Because in my life when I was kid I funeral, and then I saw a very completely new definitions. And then if you read about the as I said, the master's biography, they have a wish that their body should be how to say, uh, offered to the birds. It means like normally there are cases they don't offer, so they thought that whole Himalayans, how to say, uh, like area like Dolpo, they perform sky burial because of the lack of firewoods, and earth is very hard to dig. And this, but they have to know that uh, we have so many way according to the beliefs, that for example, if family member of our who lives more than 100 years, and usually these people are buried in the house, it is called auspicious funeral. So the prosperity, energy, charisma, whatever positivity with him shouldn't go away. And there are many houses under their floor, their grandparents are buried. This uh, tradition is alive. I don't think now it will go forward anymore. And at the same time, when a how you call this, what is the term, mm, merger, uh, what was English term for that, a very young child in, let me think, how you call it, the child infant. Okay, yeah, you got it. I remember, and you got it. Infant child. And when infant child died, and normally there are two ways that I have witnessed. One, in the house, and especially under the, under, you have a door, and then there is a how to say, lock, where door shuts. Under that we call temba. Under that, bury under that, and it's also kind of a same concept with a unfortunate. Okay, when you live longer than 100 years, it is fortunate, auspicious. When you die in the state of infant, it's unfortunate. So if buried at the door, hmm, that's happened. Also, if it is infant, some people they bury it in the rocks, pebbles. You don't need a special way to bury it under the earth. Just pebble is enough. So there are tradition like this. So these are, how to say, um, different kind of funerals that is performed. So I mentioned this right now, so I won't forget tomorrow to mention this. So in the many monastery, what will happen is that we have a very good system about this. If someone dies, whether he is rich, famous, powerful, poor, doesn't matter. Whoever dies, first thing is there. And the monastery will give a list of the monk who should go there, and they if there isn't a family relatives around there, and these monks should perform everything voluntarily. Washing doesn't matter, male, female, like a man or a woman who has been in the bed for a long time, doesn't matter. They will wash it and they perform the ritual, and then they continues after 3 days. They continues or for the 3 days, like the continuation of reading a bardo prayers, like unbroken continuation, day and night, and the duties for that. Each 6 hours they change the turn. So this is very 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 good system, and because of this we have so many experience about all these things, how to deal with them. So we experience our first hand in that how to say, that ritual. So imagine spending hours in front of dead body for many years, and then sometime after 3 days some of these bodies started to make sound from inside. Have you noticed, have you witnessed such? If you are very new, it's a little bit scary, and then you get used to it, and then you know what to do. I mean, those are like in one way it's very, very fortunate to get opportunity to perform such contribution, and you really something that is more important. And the most important thing is that, and how the relatives and family members of the deceased really appreciate that moment, the way monks has done. Okay, so I was in the Bhutan where I have learned something special, and they have something called a monks of the. They use the term zong, which means fort, which means they're government monks, official monks, or government monks, which means like they receive a certain amount of salary per month from the government, and their duty is such thing like or whatever happened anywhere, they have to go without charging anything. They have to perform. So it's very good kind of system. I was really impressed by that system. And then sometime, if you don't have this system, if two people, one from a rich family, one from poor family, died in a one same village, sometime the poor family will face difficulties. If you have this system, then nobody can distinguish. So they will, like, half will go there and half will go the other. So it's a very good system. So that is the one thing. So this is about funeral, and okay, I actually forgot about talking about the collapse dissolving of the chakras. Hmm? Anyway, chakras, or the inner subtle elements, that is we still have 10 minutes, okay, or more than 25 minutes. Hmm? 25 minutes, okay. So yeah, so uh, okay, as I said before, like uh, first outer element dissolve. Because of this, the base of the element, which is a mm, uh, five organs, mm, those started to dysfunction, connection between the senses and the consciousness disconnect, and at the same time those limbs connected with these organs or the element started to dysfunction or lose their ability to move. uh, all this happen, and at the same time those called a hollow organs, which contains some sort of remaining or essence, they started to lose that the ability to keep or contain. So the essence or the remaining in that will start to outflows. I think outflows could be the closest word. Normally it says that sakpa. Sakpa means like sak is the Tibetan word which comes out of it, fell down. Okay, so whether it is a urine, whether it is a essence, whether it is a semen, whether whether it is a stool, like it comes down. Okay, so uh, that things happens, that is most connected with physically gross way. And at the same way, as I said that uh, mm, the chakra that is connected with the earth, it somehow dissolve into the water elements. So now this is more subtle. Okay, when it dissolve, there will be sign, and that this sign can be experienced for internally by consciousness, because normally most when outer things happen, you started to see or feel with the physical. Now this is more with mental. uh, Even the connection outside is already stopped, but when the earth subtle earth chakra started to dissolve into a water, and there will be sign that a kind of a you are drowning down into earth. This kind of experience or feeling will arise. Okay, and at the same time in your mind, it is in your mind, but you feel like you see through your eyes, like kind of experiences such like mirage happens in front of your eyes. When I say in front of your eyes again, the eye sense has already disconnected. This is more inner experience, feeling. Connection already gone, but the dying person, sometimes they realize, sometimes they don't realize, but the feeling is there. Okay, so mirage or something happens, and at the same time, uh, 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 as the essence of the earth, a subtle earth element, and a yellow light started to appear uh, in front, like in your appearances. It turns out everything is turning into a yellow or something like this. So this there's a sign, and then there is appearances, experiences. So this is the moment when the earth, the chakra that is connected with earth element, started to collapse. And when the chakra that is connected with the water element collapse or dissolve into a fire elements, and then there will be even like before we says like you when the gross water element started to dissolve, your lips started to dry, you feel uh, uh, thirsty, and these things happens. And when the subtle water element dissolve into a fire, same experience happen internally in your mind. But the connection of the lips or this has already broken, but you feel like a thirsty like this. And at the same time, in front of your appearances, there will be like essence of water, kind of like uh, everything turn into kind of a bluish color. In Tibetan, it is a term used as a kyareng. Kyareng is a down, a timing of the down. And when you look at the timing of the down, every the bluish in the space appears very clearly, started to how to say mm, form more clear. So such uh, appearances occur in front of your mind, or uh, more feeling like it is happening with your eyes, but it is in your mind. This happens. And uh, after that, when mm, the chakra of the fire element dissolve into a wind element, and then uh, you feel like all the warmth and heat of your body is dissolving. You feel like feel same like this. Actually, this is happening internally, not on physical. So at the same time, in the appearances, you started to see like a simple maker, and that is fireflies. Fireflies goes around your appearances, and also reddish kind of a light arises in front of your appearances, in appearances. So that is the that is the how to say, internal experience, internal feeling when the fire chakra started to dissolve. And then how to say, fire and wind, when the wind element started to, the subtle wind chakra started to dissolve into uh, space, and then there will be a experience or feeling that kind of a ngang, kind of a ngang is kind how to say kind of tension, feeling of tension, and started to search for somewhere to hold. These things can happen as a sign. And even the connection with the eye senses is disconnected, but you have feeling like your eyes are rolling up and down. And in the appearances, you started to see the lightning, lightning, striking lightning. And in that lightning, you started to see the lights of like mixed light of uh, red and green around your appearances, and these appearances can happen. And then the last one is the dissolving of the space chakra, and in that, somehow it started everything in a dark, kind of darkness, going into darkness, and appearances more like darkness. So you can see before there are a few lights, red light, yellow light, white light, or mix like this. But then here it started to become a dark. These are the sign and experiences that can appear, occur while the subtle chakras started to dissolve or collapse down. Hmm? Is it clear? a little bit complicated. Oh yeah, we will talk more about this later. Actually, there's many charts about this, which chakra related to which. It's in a prana and chakra and like this. Okay, so it collapsed down. So like in a secret chakra, there is the water, and in a navel there's a fire, and like this it goes in. Via Ati and all these texts has mentioned it. Okay, that is the one thing. So even when you have this five pranas and each has this, I even saw in English translation somewhere, and also when you practice this five, it is mentioned clearly in the Mother Tantra and all these things. Okay, so that is the one thing. Now outer, gross, inner, subtle, and then at the last moment of this subtle, there is three steps which we will talk tomorrow very detailedly. That moment is very important again. Now when we stop breathing, that is outer death. When this all subtleness, chakra, pranas collapse down, that is inner death. So this is inner death. Okay, there is outer death, there's inner death, and after this inner death there's opportunity. So we will talk more detail about this tomorrow. The biggest opportunity, the biggest bardó, the main bardó, the bardó of the base that comes. After that, the mind leaves the body. The consciousness leaves the body, come out of the body, and that is the secret death. That is the real death. That is the moment when the yogi who is in the state of tugdam, they started to let you in the sign that they tugdam toll, we say, they release the that state of meditative. Toll is like release. How you call it? When you gathered meeting and then you separate. Toll. When something is not tied, when you tie something as a knot and then untied, so it's kind of untying. So when you go back into the meditative state and then you come back, so that is the moment when the consciousness started to come out of the body, which is called a secret death, main death. And until this, all the concepts like Delok, Rolang, in a good way Delok, in a bad way Rolang, and any other things can happen. Once it went out of the body, then either you continue your journey well, or you became a spirit, ghost, or remaining there forever. So that's the two way. Okay, is it clear? Yeah. Okay, I will take questions because there are a few questions, I think.
Yes, okay, there is Giselle. And then we also have some questions left from previous session that was in the chat. But okay, there is Giselle and another.
Okay. Should I go to English?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just a minute, Giselle. Just a minute.
Posso começar?
Yeah, no,
Posso
just
começar?
for the other participants, please switch to the English channel if you wish to hear the English translation, and then it will be translated to your language on your interpretation channel. Thank you. Sorry, yes, Giselle.
Ok, são três perguntas rápidas também. Quatro agora, porque ele falou assim que a pessoa fica presa no bardo para sempre. Isso daí me deu um susto. Quero saber se é para sempre, para sempre. E gostaria de saber também se quando a pessoa morre e a gente faz, às vezes, na melhor da intenção, faz um funeral, guarda alguns objetos, e se de alguma forma a gente pode atrapalhar a pessoa e prender ela no bardo, a pessoa que faleceu. A minha outra pergunta é se a Andrea fez a pergunta sobre os animais, né, anteriormente, mas se eu comer um animal, me alimentar do animal que morreu, assim, que não teve o tempo, tá bom, tá certo. Se eu me alimentar desse animal que não teve tempo, que não teve o tempo dele de fazer as 3 mortes, se eu vou estar me alimentando do fantasma dele, de alguma coisa, né, que ele vai ficar preso no barco, pelo jeito. É isso. E a outra pergunta...
The first one,
Tá,
yes, the
tá bom.
study in Pardo could be for forever, and at the same time, some of them and they are stuck there because they don't know how to come out of it. That's the one thing, and another thing is some of them being in a Pardo, and then their mind became so wild, powerful, and then they started to enjoy it, and then they choose to remain there. Okay, those are the spirits, powerful spirits, who started to control other. So they ruled there. And the so-called mountain gods, local gods, and majority of them are Pardo beings. That is why there is a possibility to invite them to enter into somebody's body and talk. So some enjoys that moment because they are used to it. They, 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 they learn how to control other. They learn how to rule others, and especially all these rulers, they become in that way. So that is the one thing. And what was the second question? Hmm?
Oi, tô aqui, tô aqui. Aqui, é que voltou um mudo para mim. Quando a pessoa morre, a gente vai lá, faz um funeral para a pessoa com a melhor da intenção.
Can yeah, if you if the good intentions is there, it helps. Hmm? Yeah. There are ritual called Changbu, and in the beginning we have this mandala. Okay, all this which I don't have enough time to talk about this, maybe even not tomorrow, but those are the and level of teaching, and uh, there are ritual where you can ask some master and lama to perform for the person in the pardo, to guide them with some ritual, and with his photo or her photo or his object or her object or name or some object is needed to guide them. It is called jangbu. So this is very commonly performed in Tibetan society. And then there is a ritual where you, um, how you say, uh, upgrade, promote the level of the ground, sa, or the path, or from a realms, from lower realm to upper realms with the ritual. And that mandala is connected with this, and that's another level of teaching. Mm. This is what- Yeah, yeah. It's the same. We are just talking about human. Actually, it applies for all sentient beings.
Obrigada, muito obrigada.
Mhm.
Muito esclarecedor. Obrigada.
Okay. Okay. Welcome.
Next question is
Yes.
Galaxy 10.
A10.
É, obrigada pelos ensinamentos. E eu tenho um irmão que tem problemas mentais bem severos, né? E ele está começando a fazer a passagem. Assim, eu estou vendo que o prana dele está diminuindo, que ele está. Daqui a pouco ele está entrando em processo de falecimento, acho que uns 6 meses, 8 meses, assim. Aí, no caso, seria bom pedir para um lama fazer a recitação do bardo, ou tentar fazer, assim, para levá-lo para, enfim.
Mm-mm.
Você ouviu?
Yes,
Não.
yes. Bardó prayer should do after when someone really passed away. That is the first thing. And before that, there are few things you can ask from Lama is like either you can ask them to perform a poa or some kind of prayers guiding them. Those are the few things you can do when it is in the process.
Uhum. Tá bom. Pergunta se o Geshe Gyatso faz essa prece.
Yeah,
Tá?
yeah, this can be done. Yeah.
Uhum.
But the prayer should perform after the death.
Ok, sim. Obrigada.
Okay. And is there enough time for the reading some questions?
Yeah, if you wish, there are many questions.
Oh,
Right. So I don't know if you wish to have some more minutes to answer a few, or shall I send you and you answer tomorrow? It's up to you.
okay. If there is some important or I would say save this and send it to me, and then I will check and try to include in tomorrow's talk. Mm.
Okay, I will send you.
So I think we are almost at the time. Is it? It's already.
Yes.
Yeah. So so we will end here, and then tomorrow the most important moment of the Pardu teaching will be tomorrow. That's very important. That is where really bardó means. Okay, so that I would like to talk more precisely, and you have to it is good to understand that moment very precisely. So until that, uh, so good night and good mornings for some others. So we will do dedication and see you tomorrow. Mhm. Okay. Gozom da pege waganye 감솜새 제남예 도솜사 벨렌jem 고솜조 배산예 뉴토쇼. Okay, looks like there is a question. Okay, if it is a technical,
Yes.
please ask.
Okay, so Kenya, raise the hand.
Yeah.
Bom na hora só para poder dar umas porradas muito grandes e tocou a bolsa.
Okay. I don't know, maybe I think it was by mistake, but somebody wrote me that she couldn't hear you well, but at the end. But as I said, I will gather all the questions, okay, and send it to you. And you said that you would include it in your tomorrow's teaching. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yes. And tomorrow is we change time, or we set the clocks 1 hour forward here in Europe.
Yeah.
So please mind that and check your time zone for everybody. I'm saying this because we will have changing
So,
clock.
so for us it's 3 o'clock, but it will changes in the other countries, is it?
No, we are changing the clock because the daylight saving time has already started in the US, but
Okay.
it just starts now, so it will be the time difference will be more.
I mean, like our time changes, which means
Yes.
Our 3 o'clock.
Yes, we will have 3
Is it?
o'clock. Yes, so yeah, but it means that the time difference will be different for them. So
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. So I think they have to change the
yes,
time. Okay, okay. Thank you. Okay. See you tomorrow.
okay, see you.
See you. Thank you.